Hello, and welcome to the Global Luxury Real Estate Mastermind with me, your host, Michael Valdes. Today's guest is such a good friend. I am so honored and happy to have Shashank Vashishtha, who is our Executive Director of EXP India, on the show today. Shashank, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Thank you, Michael. I'm so excited. I'm doing really good. It's been an honor to be with you on this show. I am following your podcast like for almost more than a year now. And all your guests, the topics you covered, it's very informative, very educating for me. And especially so many leaders like me out there in India who wanted to learn more about the global real estate market, about the finance, about the sales, and different micro markets, different leaders and their stories and their journeys. I think this is very inspiring. And also, Michael is like my elder brother, and I really respect you, take you as a mentor for me, and really learn a lot. And I remember, our relationship goes back long, like almost 5 years. We know each other. And from the day we met, I think your journey is also truly inspiring. It's not only about where we met, but this is how we are coming through. And I can recall, the day when we discussed about EXP opportunities, and from there, like it's a non-stop. And definitely this is going to go very long as we grow.
Oh, Shashank, first of all, thank you so much for those kind words. You are such an inspiration, and it's been really wonderful to do this project, to do this podcast, to really see how we've expanded so quickly. In a year and a half, we have over 10 million impressions in this podcast. We have been able to be distributed in over 90 countries. And India is actually one of our top countries. And to really have that sort of interaction from the wonderful people of India, and now that we have come in and have built this brand in India with your leadership, it was really just so wonderful to have you as a guest. And for those people that don't know you, would you just share a little bit about how you got started? I know you said that we met about 5 years ago working for another brand together, but tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you start in this industry?
Absolutely, Michael. And I can say this is something, which is written in my destiny. And I never wanted to be in real estate industry. Yeah, I can remember, the day almost 12 years back. So a friend of mine, it's a very interesting story I would like to quickly share with you. So one friend of mine, he is into real estate. His father is into development. And I remember I was doing my engineering, and after second year, he said, I'm going to help my father and I'm not going to become an engineer, and though I'm going to complete my degree. So I said, okay, I would love to, maybe see what you do, what your fathers do exactly, what is real estate all about, right? Yeah. So as out of curiosity, I have been there, I met him. And you know what, I think that's the day where I tested the blood of real estate. And when I heard about, by selling one apartment, you can make this kind of money. That is one thing. Second, you are changing and you are giving an opportunity to fulfill the life, like dreams of so many people into development. So that is something, that's an eye opener for me. And that is how I tasted, as I mentioned, the blood. And we discussed about that. I think that's the game changer for my life. And exact 7 months after, when like after third year, you need to do your internship. So we decided, instead of going for the internship, I asked him, do you have an opportunity that I can do my internship in your company, in your father's company? So that day I remember it was a step taken by me. And he said, yeah, why not? I mean, this is really great. We are going to launch one project. So this is how I started. And we started doing price discovery for that particular project. And I remember it's a multi-unit apartment project where we were talking about 200 plus inventory. And it was in the satellite city for New Delhi, which is the capital for India. And we started doing the market research, price discovery, product mix. So we finally take a decision, okay, we are going to work on this project, the launch of that project. And I started building the relationship with the channel partners. This is, I think, personally, that's my core strength, where I coming from, people's person. And I started, making more and more people to agree to come and sell our product. And you won't believe, Michael, two of us, along with the 7 people from the company, we made that launch a big hit. We have sold 40% of the inventory within just
Wow.
1 month of launch. Yeah. Then I have completed my engineering. I got an opportunity to work in an IT firm. So I'm coming from a engineering background. I hold
Yes.
a degree for engineering in IT, computer science and information technology. And within a month, I realized, this is not something I'm really looking for. And I decided I went back to my family and asked my father, am I allowed? Shall I leave this job? So then he asked one question. I remember, Michael, I mean, this is again, an incident from my life. So he asked me what you are going to do after this, because most of the people, they have, this kind of dream to become a successful
Sure.
engineer. You already got a good job. So I think that was a very bold decision in my career path. I still remember that day. And exact time, I think it was 11 a.m. And I was not very motivated
Wow.
to do that job. And I decided, okay, I will do anything, but not this. This is not something I have literally, dreamt of. And the next day, I called my same friend. Do you have something for me? So I remember it was in 2011, and we started working again on this other project that was a commercial this time. And I was taking care for the leasing of that particular project, and that's how it started, right? And
It's amazing.
just to gain more knowledge, so I decided to also start pursuing my masters along with my work. So I simultaneously enrolled myself for masters in real estate and majors in investment and sales, because I just wanted to make sure, I should polish, I should get the professional knowledge and
Yes.
expertise, so that I can, grow in this industry. So that's how it started. During that course also, simultaneously, I was working in selling these properties, leasing these commercial spaces, working these clients and tenants. So getting, or I can say, implementing my practical, or sorry, educational theoretical knowledge to the practical world.
Yes.
So this is what I have done. And after 1 year, I was get an opportunity to go for a program where, it's a studio program, travel studio program, organized by a organization based out of Hong Kong, Reach. So it was basically, they select or handpick people from different countries. So I was one who selected from
Wow.
India.
Wow.
And yes, and I got the opportunity to go and work with some of the reputed company, most reputed developers, banks like Morgan Stanley, who are working in these mature market and the developing countries of Southeast Asia, which is
Wow.
covering Tokyo from Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, Seoul. So I think that is the great exposure I got at that
Sure.
point of time, during my studies. And I literally worked and done a study for the skyscrapers, both in the funding side as well as their, development side. And I think that is something which I really wanted to do, explore more and more. I'm always curious about this business, real estate, and that's how I gained my knowledge.
You know what I think is
So
so
after,
interesting? It's the idea that you're talking about, as people from around the world are listening to this and watching us eventually. It's the idea that when you start thinking about Indian culture, it's steeped in millennials of tradition. And, it's always about respecting family. And the idea of having that conversation with your father, if he would have said, you're going to be an engineer, we wouldn't be here because you would have been an
absolutely,
engineer. And
absolutely,
it is that sense of tradition, and it's that sense of this was in your heart. And this was, you said earlier, your destiny. And as you start looking at this, I sort of see how hard you work. I see how your vision is. The idea that we have opened this brand, DXP India, in India 7 months ago, and you're almost at 1,000 agents. And I'll repeat that. In 7 months, you've almost attracted 1,000 agents. That's extraordinary. Let's talk about how you build a brand. How did you start from the conversation that you and I had, less than a year ago when we were just
yeah.
speaking about this as a germ of an idea, to it launching and then sort of getting the word out, and then having now this amazing roller coaster of growth where we're probably getting to some very, very large numbers by the end of this year. Tell me how that started. How did you start
Yeah,
from basically nothing? How do you say,
yeah.
what's DXP India?
So yes, before getting into this, I think, my journey from 2013 to 20 helped me building the brand. I worked with Cushman & Wakefield, where I was handling the investment and finance part. And we used to work with old developers, working with foreign institutions, investment banks, and advise them in terms of, viability of the project, whether you should invest or not.
That's
So
right.
I think that gives me a great exposure in different markets in India. And then, our previous company, we started working, and in last 5 years, we were selling the most luxury real estate, I can say residential real estate of this country, and not only in this country, but internationally. So that is my, I can say, learning and exposure in this particular country. And yes, for EXP, I must say, the brand, again, the brand carries a value, which is like uncomparable. You cannot compare something like that. And it's a truly disruptive business model. What I have personally seen, I haven't seen in my last 12, 13 years of journey, I have never seen, some such business model where the agent are the most focused one, because everyone wants to grow in their life. Like everyone wants to make more money. So I have worked with franchises. I have worked with companies, traditional companies, real estate company, where, you work on the salaries. But this model is truly disruptive. And this is what I can say, when people started talking about EXP, when we discussed, I remember after discussion with you, then we finally decided, okay, we are coming to India.
Yeah.
So the day one, I can't even tell you, Michael, my success rate, if I'm talking to 100 people, out of that 100, I think 60 to 65 people are joining. So this is something I personally felt about it. Let's talk about the business. I remember like one of my friend from different country, Ismail from Mexico. Yes. So we were on the stage, and during a forum, he mentioned, this, my country needed this business model. Yeah. And I can relate to that. This is the same applicable to India. Literally, my country also needed this business model, because working as a hardcore broker, I can relate to that, because there's no knowledge, there's no education in this industry. Everything you need to learn from your by your own, from your scratch, and your experience give you, more exposure. So yeah, the people who really wanted to work in this industry and chose this industry as a career model or a career, option, I think EXP is a great platform to start with, because with EXP, you not only get the proper training through our EXP university, it's a disruptive way in the sense, they are cutting down the brick and mortar. You no need to invest upfront licensing fees. You no need to pay anything upfront. You just need to start by enrolling, yourself. And we are lucky that we are in India. We don't require to have a licensing as such, though government has started, and they have put a requisite that you have to have a RERA certified. But just to counter that, being a EXP in India, we have started our operations almost more than 14 states so far, which is strategically covering all major geographies of tier 1, tier 2 cities, and covering a mass population in this country. So we have a bigger audience, we have bigger opportunities. And if you talk about India, I think we have more than 2 million realtors who are working actively
it's so funny country. Because when you start sort of saying things like my country needed this, and there was a team leader that you brought on also that said even a greater quote, which I use in a lot of my speeches. And it was the fact that he had said that he joined EXP India because this model was made for humanity. And imagine how powerful those words are when we start sort of thinking about real estate and the idea that we're a real estate company, and people are saying things like, my country needed this, and this model is made for humanity. And it's extraordinary to me in this sort of movement that we're involved in, because this is literally changing people's lives. And it's sort of like, it just keeps my passion just going, and the fact of what we're doing and how we're affecting this across the globe. And the fact that we are so strong in India, and that we have almost 1,000 people that are part of this family in this beautiful country of yours. And it's the idea that now they're going in and changing their lives, but now they have the power to change other people's lives too. And that's what's so exciting about this. But tell me something now, as you continue to grow, how do you continue to motivate your team?
Yeah. So Michael, motivation comes with, multiple factors. If I'll talk about, as I mentioned earlier, you need to collaborate. Like this is what EXP, what we are trying to do. So instead of just putting a competition, a healthy competition is always required. But what we are trying to do to motivate them just to understand, what they exactly want, what the pain points of this market, and we literally capture that and just to try to solve their issues. Like, for example, one pain point I discussed, education is the one which is necessary in this industry, right? So being with EXP, what we are trying to do, we are trying to do more and more trainings programs where we are not only training them domestically, but also through EXP, we have a 50 plus hours of live training every week on a weekly basis. Experts from all over the world, they come, they share their experience, they tell their experiences, what about the failures, how they, what they learned from them. And I think this is what helping me, motivating them. Second thing, as I mentioned, multiple factors. Second thing is about the compensation. If I talk about EXP, so EXP is all about community, compensation, and client. So I think, and fourth is cloud-based, right? So we, as a company, providing everything to our agents. Like we are literally giving them flexibility to work as on their own condition. We are not like, no one is boss here. Every entrepreneur, can join us and they can grow there. He can also become a CEO. He can grow their network, not only in India, but wherever he wants. Sky's the limit with our company. And I think that is a great
growth. Absolutely. Shashank, what's the greatest lesson you've learned in your career so far?
So there are multiple, I can say, and still learning. But
I want you to keep learning. That's the idea.
Yeah. So first thing, which I literally, I think I can say one of the greatest lesson is, be focused on, what you want to achieve. First thing, right? Instead of just thinking about others' achievement or others, what they are doing in their life, I think you should focus on what you really wanted to be. So that is something, which I always admire. Second thing is, it's always good to take the opportunity instead of just thinking. So I think I believe in the philosophy, why not? So why not trying, something new? So because if you wait, okay, there are some things, it might be not feasible for someone else, but for you, it can change your life. So it's always good to, take some kind of balanced sort of risk, or if required, like at my age or for the new generation, I can say, especially the millennials age from 20 to 30, I think this is the time you can try for new things. You can work, you can go out and, take a job whenever you want. Obviously, at least you can try something, you learn something. If you fail, at least you have some experience. But if you gain something, right, you can go skyrocketing.
I love that one because it's also the idea that you always sort of think about your competition, right? Your competition isn't the people to your right or your left. The competition is inside you. The competition is what did you do that bettered yourself? And it's the idea of having the blinders on. The horse that wins is the horse that looks forward, not to the side. And it's that type of thing that is so beautiful because you're learning it at as young as you are, as you continue with your trajectory of your amazing career is so beautiful because that's an incredible lesson to learn. Stay on that side of wisdom. And I want you to give 3 pieces of advice for someone that's entering the business today.
So I think first advice, because right now we are in the social revolution, I can say this word, right? So I think you should choose a business which is where you can use the social platform as its best. So something related to technology, I think that is something. If that business is not into that, try to do some or think some of the ideas where you can actually break the barriers, like what we have done. So I can take an example, like for what EXP is doing. We have literally breaking the barriers, how traditional brokerages are working, how traditional real estate companies are working. Some of people are literally, criticizing us about our model, about this thing, but I am a true believer. And once you start believing in something, I think, no one is going to stop you. So this is personally I believe in. And when I think, okay, I have to do this, we have to do this, right? And this is something which I really wanted to communicate to my team also. Second thing is, don't give up. Like this is something, never give up sort of attitude you have to have. If you started something, no matter it's a small thing or a big thing, at least try to spend at least, 3 years in that. Why I'm saying 3 years? Because, first year is just when you start doing something. Second year, it can be like there will be some situation, there is ups and downs, you are not able to see some success. But if you keep on practicing the same thing, try to improve your thing, try to identify your mistakes and work on that. And in the second year, if you start doing that, like this is my personal experience, and I have seen so many people who have seen success, in third year. I'm not saying exceptions are there, but yes, never give up sort of attitude, you have to practice. And third advice, which is again from my learning, always take one step at a time. Start small, start, or whatever goal you wanted to achieve, just break it into, parts. So this is what I believe. Do your efforts on a daily basis, be consistent, be persistent, and try to achieve your goal on a daily basis. And the end goal will definitely going to meet. So just make your goals, set your targets, and then just break it into, months, years, months, then days, then hours. I think no one is going to beat you.
How'd you get so smart?
From you.
Oh, yes. I love that. So you do a lot of self-discovery. You can tell you do a lot of self-improvement, Shashank.
Yeah. So it's always because, no one is perfect in this world. And if someone is claiming like I am the perfect in below this sky, I mean, there is so much we need to learn. I mean, in this industry, obviously we are keep on learning, keep on evolving, and just try to learn and evaluate yourself on a daily basis. Like, what you have achieved today. Right. So you no need to go back to anyone and ask like what I did wrong, what I did right, because from your heart, what you have done right today and what you have done wrong today. So so this is something, which I always believe in, and I always advise to my team also.
So tell me, little 10-year-old Shashank, what sort of advice would you give that 10-year-old self with everything that you know today?
So, Michael, as I mentioned, if I'll see myself, because a 19-year or a 18-year boy, it's the same thing, you don't know how to do it, like where to go. You don't have kind of a career path at that time because of so many factors, because of biological, because of, lack of knowledge, lack of motivation in your life. So I think that time like most of the people, or I also think other people, like I wanted to become like something, like him, right? So there's always some aspiration. But my piece of advice, like for someone like me 10 years prior or 10 years before, I think be yourself. This is something, I really wanted to, because there is a time and a place for everything, right? That's right. If you have to do things you are uncomfortable with in order to fit in, don't, right? You are a masterpiece. Like just you are trying to fit in the wrong puzzle. This is what I can say. At that time, I wanted to become an engineer. I think that call to my father, to my brother, to my family, I think that is something I took the bold step. And when I decided on that day, I remember, I just wanted to share one more example. When I discussed second thing with my brother, my elder brother, he said, if you are going to leave this job, just promise yourself you will never turn back to this industry, right? So I said, okay, I will do that. So that is something, it was a piece of advice from like someone who has more experience than me. But then he said, today you are leaving this industry, which is IT. Never ever thought you have to come back. No matter are you going to succeed or fail, but you have took the decision, be stick to it. And I think this is what I have done. And I have tried to make, something for my own.
So burn the bridge. Make sure that you're not going back, right? You can only go forward.
Absolutely.
I love that one. I love that one. Talk to me a little bit about, your philanthropic nature, because you are also an amazing spiritual person. You have a beautiful family. You start thinking about others so much. And, when your country was going through, for example, the awful crisis with COVID, with so many people affected, you called me and you said, can we pay for everyone's vaccine? And I said, oh my God, of course. And it was one of those things that your heart is with others. Tell me a little bit about how philanthropy fits into your life and that spiritual side.
Yeah. So Michael, I don't know how and from where it comes. Maybe it's a hereditary from my mother, from my family, right? But yeah, so always I believe, and I'm that kind of person who think about others before taking any decision. Because whenever I need to decide something, I at least spend 3 to 5 minutes. Like I should do it and who all are going to impact with my decision.
Yeah.
So I think this is something, I always consider. Obviously, I'm also think about the practical perspective also, not always emotional, because we are into hardcore business. So you cannot be emotional always. But yes, as you mentioned, when you think about happiness, for others, like what makes others happy, like
Yeah.
this can make a huge difference in anyone's life. So this is what we are trying to do, and being associated with EXP, and this is so generous from the company side. When I discussed with them in a trial times in India during the pandemic,
Yeah.
we decided to go for the vaccination for all our agents. Company and you literally played a crucial role in that, and you said, okay, let's do it, because this is a tough time. You need to support your family, and our agents are a family.
Of
All our
course.
agents, they should feel connected, like we are there for them.
Yeah.
And in US, we are also helping them in the insurance with so many things, and
Yeah.
all these agents are co-owner in the family. So I think, this makes a brand like agent centric brand, and agents feel connected with the company. And I think this is what we are doing, we are practicing. And honestly, I also read somewhere, if you really wanted to go a long way, you literally, wanted to run a marathon, you need to build a team. You need to
That's right.
have some good people around you.
That's
If
right.
you wanted to, just run a sprint, you can run it alone. But really, we have some long vision here with the company, with myself, with the country. I think, we have a right set of people, mentors like you, people in my team. I am literally, lucky that these people are with me, and they are literally supporting. They take the ownership of their work. I think this is what making India, proud. And this is what our success reason.
Yeah, no, for sure. How are you
Yeah.
targeting the NRIs around the world?
Yes, I think this is something which is my favorite area, always, Michael, because yeah. So working in international market, I got some sort of idea, because people, especially NRIs, they are looking for professionals,
Yeah, they
right?
sure are.
They are looking for a professionals who think, they can get some good advice, a genuine advice. Like in mature countries, people literally, agents literally do proper process, going for the classes, examination, and then you become a licensed realtor. But in India, there's a multiple, it's a highly unorganized market. So in this market, I think majority of the NRI client, they are looking for a person who can help them in their growth, in their, helping them in terms of selling or liquidating their assets, which is in India. They are now literally shifted to different country. They don't know much about the market. So I
Sure.
think education is one thing which should be there. Being a realtor, they should give advice to their clients, just not to make a deal out of it. So just to target around NRI. So I just wanted to share some of the numbers for the benefit of the audience. So Indians are everywhere. Like, Indian diaspora is
Yes,
spread
they are.
all over the world, right? So we have 32 million, more than 32 million Indian NRI population, and this has been a report published by Data. And 32 million Indians are already settled overseas, or they are working overseas. So it's a big number,
Sure.
especially four countries: US, UAE, UK, Australia. So these are, and South Africa. So these are the five, major places where we have seen a huge population. So when you are talking about targeting these NRIs, so we have with EXP Reality a network of more than 60,000 active agents. So
That's right.
60,000 agents. I mean, this is insane. No matter where you are located, especially the Indians, those who are listening to this podcast, I mean, we are there for you. We are there to support you. To your clients also, the agents are from different countries, those who are already listening to this podcast. So don't hesitate. We already have more than 1,000 agents in India who are there to help you support your clients, close your referrals. I think this is what we are trying to do here. And Michael, I would like to add one more thing, because
Sure.
when you talk about residential real estate in India, this is more scattered, like especially in India, it's primarily focused on the residential new developments in India. So developers are also looking for the partners like EXP, where by doing some participation or association, we can actually help them market their property to our NRI clients, our Indians who are settled overseas. And
Absolutely.
you would be amazed to hear that with EXP India, and thanks for your help, and with EXP Reality, we are also going to start our developer onboarding program, where we are going
Great.
to market some of the exclusive credible developers. Obviously, we have a selection criteria, but this is going to be a game changer for the developers in India, to help them selling their inventory in the international market, because in India, when you talk about international, so these developers sell their properties maybe into Middle East, also some of the Southeast Asian countries, but they are not able to penetrate the mature market like United States of America, Canada, South Africa. And there's a reason for that. You have to be a licensed broker. By the time you become a licensed broker, you need to have a PR or permanent citizen. So these are the major factors, and there's no such platform like EXP prior to this year. And I think this is going to be a great.
I love that. That's awesome. So I have one final question for you. In your book of life, what is this chapter called?
This is something, so I'm always a passionate about real estate. So I think I will name this chapter a passion, because I'm literally loving it, living it, and practicing it to be a better myself every day. So real estate literally inspires me and drive me every day to achieve my specific goals, which I literally set, and I divided into step by step, as I mentioned. And it gives me enthusiasm to fall through the biggest obstacles and overcome the biggest and, I can say these challenges, right? Try to prove myself that I can do it, or we can do it with the team. And this also helps me winning loyalty from my team, from my agent, and we work as a teamly basis, like teamwork, we can see. And eventually it leads to the success. And this is what I believe. Just do your karma and don't forget about, just forget about the results and our outcomes. It will definitely come to you.
I love this. Shashank, you are such a wonderful friend, a wonderful leader. You're a wonderful family man, and you affect so many people's lives already. The people that have seen you as our leader, and as you continue to grow, you really are, you impress me every single day. I've known you for so long, and it really warms my heart, because I am so, so proud of you and who you are and everything that you've done. So thank you for being on the show. Thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you so much, Michael. And literally, as I mentioned, this is an honor, sort of dream come true for me. I'll tell you the reason, because the day I started, I remember, because the kind of guest you are getting, no matter it's a Glenn Sanford, Elena Cardone, or Ryan Serhant, one of my favorite personality personally. And this is so inspiring. And I think it's a true privilege. And I really look forward to learn from you, the leaders out there in the global real estate market. And this is great mission you are doing, Michael, and you are literally changing lives of so many. Like EXP is doing, you are also doing a bit of yours, your contribution. It's really appreciable. Thank you so much, Michael,
Shashank,
for inviting me and share.
It's been my honor, and it really, thank you for the kind words. And I love how we have been doing so much in India, not only through EXP, but really through this podcast as well. As I said, India is our #3 country with listeners and viewership. So thank you to the people of India for the support that they have given for the Global Luxury Real Estate Mastermind. And thank you all for listening. And it's been an honor. Thank you again, Shashank.
Thank you. And namaste to all my audience.
Namaste.
Thank you.